Hey everyone, it's Stephanie and I brought my very special guest,
What's happening?
my husband Edmund, for the review of Married at First Sight Season 8 episode finale. Because I don't know what it is. I think it's like episode 14. But it's decision day and we know who stayed and who did not. So let's just jump into it.
Before we start,
Okay.
I am glad to be back on this part of it. I've been on the 4 Cents show,
Yes.
and I've got booted off of the review for Married at First
You
Sight.
did not get booted off.
For the most part. So the champ is back. And if
Oh
you
my
don't know
God.
what that means, go watch our other videos. Married at First Sight has a different type of spin, so
It does.
let's spark it off. I get to be a little more
Well,
myself
okay,
in
they
this
haven't
one.
seen you since I think the very first episode of the season. So what have you thought about this season? Yeah, I know.
Man.
I know.
Woo!
Yeah.
This season here, Luke, man. I have to start with Luke, man. Luke's a
know.
very interesting character, man. I mean, wow. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then AJ's hilarious. He's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but
Definitely.
he's a hilarious dude. He definitely should continue having therapy or maybe even anger management to see where that's coming
Or
from.
both.
Because that's kind of scary. He has that I don't know what he's gonna do feel. You know, I would never fight AJ ever, like, because you just don't know how far that brother's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I'm gonna go as far as he will.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the guys, man. We're getting everything. Will is a computer with a heartbeat.
Oh, that's that's perfect.
He is a detailed man. Boy, that boy is like a Rubik's Cube with a pulse.
Oh my God.
I mean, oh man, I don't know if I leave the house at a certain time,
Yeah,
I might not hit the traffic jam.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Jesus Christ! But I like him though. He's cool people. He looked like somebody that went to FAMU.
Yeah, he seems nice.
He
but
seems hilarious
it's
too in his own
yes, because
witty
he's
way.
funny, sarcastic,
Yeah,
but
he's
in
cool.
this experiment. You know.
And then buddy, I really
Keith,
like Keith,
Keith,
man.
yes.
Keith, he notices his flaws. He notices his patterns, and we all have our patterns of how we've been living. A lot of people want to judge. Oh, he was living with his mom. He's living with his grandma. Blah blah blah. He's spoiled, but he's willing to say, okay, you know what? Let me be better. Let me be great. Let me change. And he's open to changing. And that's really one of the best traits you can have in a spouse.
Yeah.
Is somebody that's really like wanting to become better and allow the marriage to make them better and not so stubborn.
Yeah.
And just stay, in ways that you may not like. So that's my snapshot of the fellas. But
Right.
it's been an interesting whirlwind in this
It is.
show.
Well, let's just kick it off because yesterday was decision day. They got very straight to the point. We didn't even know the episode started. It just kind of came on the
I don't know
screen.
what Lifetime is doing,
I
man.
don't
We
know.
got time and stuff to do, man.
Yeah.
We started 8 minutes in, 20 minutes
Yeah.
in,
So
hourly.
let's kick it off. Stephanie and AJ. So Stephanie and AJ chose to stay together. That didn't surprise me. I think I said
Yeah,
that last week.
we both
I knew,
guessed that one.
Yeah, I knew they would stay together. Where I'm concerned for them, I mean, we all know AJ's explosive and he is inflexible a lot of the time. He'll say he's flexible, but he's really not. His actions don't show that. Where I'm concerned for them is more on Stephanie's end, because Stephanie is more focused on trying to like take the fire out rather than address it before it becomes a fire. So her focus on how do I fix this or how do I manage this rather than challenging it, that is going to get old very quick. I feel like it's probably already gotten old, but they have the cameras and the light. I mean, we have one light here and it's like bright and distracting. So they have tons of cameras and people around them all the time. Maybe it's like, okay, I can deal with this. I'll figure this out. Well, when all that stuff goes away and he snaps about something, because he has the propensity to, we've seen him do it many times. How are you going to manage that? And how are you going to get to the point where you can be honest and saying, this is not okay? She's gotten to the end of it saying, we've gotten really frustrated, but they're still being around the bush. So that would be my only concern for Stephanie, is really learning to find her voice and be confident in that and make the right choices for her. If she doesn't feel safe in addressing something with her spouse, that's not the spouse for you, because you have to be able to communicate effectively and feel safe, not threatened by your spouse. So, that's it. I mean, I knew they would stay together. So
I just think he downplays his snapping and I'm just through it and over with it. But it's like suffocating in a room. I mean, he takes control of the entire room when he has an issue with something, and that can be
overwhelming,
very disturbing, and just make you not want to be around that type of thing. And these haven't even been anything huge. So imagine something huge on top of something huge. And so what I mean by that is, in marriage, you may have to deal with a loss of a loved one on top of a job loss, on top of this or that. And in those places, really, you look at the character of the person. And I think what scares Stephanie, she doesn't know the true character of how he will be in the worst of worst times. And it's to a point that it's frightening of where we think AJ could go. And I'm not even sure if AJ knows where he could go, you know, if pushed to a certain degree. And that's something that I think they definitely should look into. I hope they watch this, because I definitely think they should look into counseling, anger management, to find out where that's coming from and where that pain's coming from. Also, the whole eating alone thing, I get it, but it's so deeper than that. There's something there that, you know, I don't know if Stephanie had to, like, you know, work away for a while, and how would that be if he had to eat alone? Like, how can you get through whatever that is really the core of that? And those are two things that just kind of concern me, you know. And then Stephanie taking ownership of his fault is also wrong.
For sure. So that's Stephanie and AJ. We'll see. I think I will do a review on the reunion just to see where everybody's at. But I don't foresee, based on what I'm seeing now and what we have seen for the season, like, longevity. Like, I don't.
I think she's the perfect person for him if he's willing to bend and to grow.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they could stake it out if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, they have potential. I still don't get, like, a couple's chemistry from them. I think I've said that every video, but whatever. They're making it work. But I think until they work on some things, that dynamic may not have, like, longevity.
Yeah, because you know what? And I think she's going to be afraid to, I know she said I love you, but and he, you know, had to kind of wait a while. I think she's going to be afraid to go all the way fully emotionally vulnerable until she's safe. I don't feel like she's fully emotionally safe yet.
That irritated me, and I'm gonna that just real quick, that really irritated me that she said I love you in that moment, and he said that he would wait. And it's not about
he said it later. He's like, the camera. He said it.
You've been in front of the cameras for 8 weeks. Like, give me a break. It's a control thing. It's not, because I know some people are gonna say, well, you can't make him say it when it is not about that with him.
I mean, he said
if
what,
we've
60
seen his
later?
characters, it's about
Control.
doing things when he wants to do it.
That's
and
true.
Since the first episode, he's had issues with when they want him to do what. Don't sign up for it if you don't want to have some. Life has directions. Life has things that you have to do at certain times. And I just didn't
think about that. The gym, everything is about somebody else telling him what to do.
And he doesn't like it because he doesn't want to do it. He didn't like, you know, the little bath thing that they hung up when they first moved together, because he doesn't like that. You know, it's just, that really irritated me. I can go on and on about that. So that's, congrats, y'all. So now, next is Will and Jasmine. So Will and Jasmine did not stay together. Jasmine,
we knew that was going to happen. I called that one.
I thought that as well. I didn't think they would stay together. I didn't think that Jasmine, here's the thing. I was on the fence with Jasmine because I feel like last week she was recognizing how problematic their relationship was in terms of his efforts, because she kind of knows I'm loud and I'm wrong, you know, or like I have issues, but like I'm here, I'm trying. And she saw a lot of what he wasn't doing, and he kind of checked out. And I thought that maybe there was a 50-50 chance whether she would have stayed, which she did say she wanted to stay, or she would have kind of checked out. I knew that Will wasn't going to stay because we've seen Will throughout the season say one thing and do another. He always says he wants to be close to her. He could see himself with her. He wants her as his future wife. Never did it once show up. And I know that she's had some grave offenses that everybody was kind of like, of course he would check out. But he never really put full effort in, and I think that's more reflective of him instead of her. He will be this way in another relationship. And it won't be a Jasmine. It'll be somebody else, and he will still show up that way. Because it's not like he was some exciting guy that just didn't get along with Jasmine. I mean, hello. Sometimes did he have a pulse? Like, he's so low energy. Like, he's so methodical. He's like hella petty in the way that he addresses things, you know. And it's just, there was no feeling with him. There was too much thinking. In relationships, there needs to be both. So he will struggle in the next relationship. It's not just Jasmine. And that's why towards the end, I stopped, my witch hunt for Jasmine, because I saw, she had her issues, but then we're seeing that he's not showing up. And regardless of him checking out because of certain things, he didn't even show up in areas where he could have, just off of being like a fun person. So.
I mean, if you look at it, like, we talk about this all the time, different needs of humans, is to be right, to control, to actually, to either dominate or be dominated, either way. And you got to find where, and Will's is really about, or to be right. His thing is about being right and looking good. Being right is more important to him than many other things. And that's why he even calculated, if you find that my judgment of you at a 7 is basically the same as it's about, that's why people that are so detailed, a lot of times just control and being right, because numbers don't lie. Decisions that can be calculated are either right or wrong. They're either correct answers or not. And that's the thing. And I think he was so in his head that this is the point about having therapy or having self-development and working on yourself even when single. And most people say, I'll get counseling when I get married or when I get, well, what about the things that you need to work on yourself? And I really wish they would have brought more of this out in the show. And that's one of the things why I said the show was so interesting, because I don't feel like there was enough therapy going on in the show. I don't feel like there was enough, here you are, here's where you can get through. It's kind of like, how do you feel? Let's kind of let the train just go right off the tracks. It's like you could have reeled that in, because they were never married. I mean, they never consummated. So legally, if you break that down, want to be right, they were never married, or they could get that easily annulled. I don't even probably even need a divorce. So because of that, and I think that something in the early settings got Will to think that, you know what, I'm going to respect her in this situation. I'm not going to be physical, because I don't think I'm going to be there for the long haul, and I don't want to do her a bad way. So I think I respect him for that in a way that I feel like he knew it, and he just kind of was like, well, let me give it a chance. Maybe it could change, and it just didn't. And I think, he may have been stuck in that setting where he did enjoy some things, but there were some things, some communication, they would have had to do some real therapy, because the way they communicate is not one that I think could have lasted a long time. And I think the part about it is that I don't think people, either one of them really took ownership of their issues, especially Will, in the communication side of things.
Yes, because here's the irony is, Will's issue was communication, and Will did not communicate well.
He calculated what he said, so he communicated.
It's like
right on point.
Yeah.
And he even said at the end is, over time, I think she'll see that I made the right decision, that this was the right decision. It was
calculator, like computer.
But I really do think that they are at the moment. I think they could have been, like Pastor Cal said. I think with growth, they could have been a great couple.
Yeah.
But I think where they are now, if they don't have that, I don't think they could have worked. I think where they are now, Will is 100% correct that he made the right decision.
They're fundamentally different. And I think that's the bigger thing. Like, they're fundamentally very different. They have a lot of great qualities. And if there was more flexibility, there was opportunity there. Because I saw them working, but there's just some things that there's no flexibility on. And that's fine. Yeah. So that's Will and Jasmine.
I think the gender roles hurt them a lot, too.
Yeah, it did. So good luck to them. I hope they find what they're looking for.
I think they will.
Yeah, for sure.
I think she will. I think she'll be. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see on Instagram in a couple of years that she's married.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So that's Will and Jasmine. Next we have Keith and Christine. Yay.
Oh yeah.
They stayed together. I should have ended with them because you know who's last. But Keith and Christine.
You want to pause them?
No, we could do it. I'm excited for Keith and Christine. I knew they were going to stay together. Listen, their issues is just timing. It would be different if they didn't want the same things. They just want the same things at a different time, and they have to meet in the middle. It can't be this way. It can't be that way. They have to find some median that works for them, and then that's it. They are really good for each other, I think. No, if they wrote down what they wanted on paper, they wouldn't necessarily show up. But like I said in several videos, sometimes you end up with the person that's not my type. And that ends up being a great person for you, where he might lack in certain areas that she really wanted. He might give her something that she needed. You know, in one of the episodes, she said that she had the stereotypical guy who made all the money, and he made a lot of money, and she was miserable and she was not treated well. So here we have Keith. He may not have two pennies to rub together, but he is working on it, and he is like honest and hardworking, and he has goals, and he's flexible, and he's willing to be better. And if we give it a little time, he can become that man. So that's much better than having somebody show up the way you think they're supposed to be, and they end up being like a jerk.
Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something about men. Okay?
Lend me your ear.
Let's talk about, I'll give you an example, LeBron James and his wife. You're not coming up to LeBron when he's LeBron already with 2 championships and all. You're just not going to do it. Mm-hmm. You got to be there during high school or middle school, or when he wasn't, or he could have gotten hurt, whatever. And I really think, he's on a path, I don't know if it's an RN or doctor or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's better to be with him now and be a part of that growth. And he's already loving you, so everything he does is just to support you and the family. He wants kids. And I'm not saying that people that already have their stuff and have their financial success together are always that way, but whoever she was attracting for whatever reason was that way. Mm-hmm. So it's because you may have been looking from external things, mm-hmm. and they know that you're looking for external, because that's how they may have attracted you, you know. And it may not have been about the money, but it may have been about the confidence, the style, the swag, the clothes, just the presence of a person that is reflected by what they have, not necessarily gold digger or materialistic. So I think she's in a great space, and she has to be okay to grow with that person. And we've grown. You know, we were both in college. You know, we didn't have anything. You know, we were using, I was still on the meal plan. So it's not like
he used the coupon on our first date.
Ruby Tuesday,
and got up in the middle of the date to go check for the coupon.
Man, because I didn't have it. I had the amount that was on the coupon, not a penny more. And so if they were gonna hit me for the 2-for-1, we were gonna be running. We were gonna see. I was just gonna leave and tell you to meet me outside and dip.
Oh my God, I'm not that type of girl.
Hey man, college is a struggle. But anyway, and I'm not to say like we roll it in the dough, but we've done a lot.
Grown together.
Many countries together and experienced the world, Paris, a lot of stuff. Yeah. And we couldn't afford that back in the day, right?
And the love is different when you grow together. It really is. I mean, if you meet somebody and they're on and popping and it works, that's wonderful. But there's something to say about growing with someone and building with someone, and it's a beautiful thing. So don't just count them out. It's easy to count them out. Nobody's going to write on a piece of paper, I want somebody who's not making it. But there is a balance. Are you with somebody who's working towards goals and they're honest and they're driven, or are you working with somebody who says they want stuff and they don't have anything to show for it?
With Keith, I think he's immature in certain levels because he's just been sheltered a certain way. But I think give him 5 years, and when he becomes a mature, grown man, I think he will be the perfect husband for her. He has some of the traits of a really, really loving person, and he's really honest. Like even when he's like, "Oh, you looked at me. Oh, I never thought that." I mean, he's just so. It's like, okay, wow, we just.
Here's what I would say to Keith and Christine. For Keith, one of the things that he said when he was talking on the couch is just as long as she keeps, pushing me. And that's sweet. And we push each other. He pushes me, I push him. There is a level of pushing. And from a woman's perspective, there's a level of nurturing and challenging and pushing you that we will do. There's a level of that's always going to be something we do. But then there is a level of it where we transition from wife or lady to mom. And we don't want to do that. That turns us off. We don't want to have to push you too much. Yeah. So Keith, you just need to be a little careful to where your wife serves as the additional push or the inspiration, or sometimes she might be the push, it depends on the scenario. But you have to push yourself first. So that's for Keith, but I think he's great. And for Christine, just be a little flexible, because everything clearly doesn't go as you planned. And the way that you have planned, it didn't work out. So just be open to the changes and the seasons of life, and be open to another perspective, because we always come to the table with what we want. And that's what we know. It's kind of like as women, we plan our weddings. We plan our weddings from childhood. I know everything. And now you meet the actual groom, and now there's some adjustments you have to make because he has an opinion, and it's now.
Who would have thought? This human.
Not too big of an opinion, but he has an opinion, and now you have to do
I picked the songs for the wedding, man. That's about
No,
it.
you had, whatever. It was beautiful. We're going to show you that during our anniversary. But you guys, you have now to put together a vision that is reflective of the both of you. So just be flexible and you guys will be all right.
I want to say this to the fellas watching this and the ladies that haven't met. Tell them this, because a lot of us didn't know this. And Keith, leadership is like a thong, right, to the women. Like, men, like, listen to me, Linda. Look, we get turned on visually, right? So the fellas know what I'm talking about. You see a thong, you see something that you like, whatever, we get excited and we like what we see. Women, their version is more like leadership ambition or a suit. A suit is like lingerie to them, looking nice, clean, like you're going somewhere, you got some purpose. Not, hey, if you just keep pushing me, make me a man. No. Yeah. They're not trying to. You're gonna have children. You're gonna raise children. You don't want to raise a man. That takes work. Being married will raise you by itself. Yeah. Both of you will become a different person than you were before. Yeah. So I think I just caution that energy, and then start to cook, because then you just want to throw down. You not just to please her, but just because you want to be able to cook for you and your future kids. So that's where I was going with that, man.
Okay.
The lingerie.
So leadership is a thong. So put a thong on for us.
There you go. Thong song. You know what I'm saying? They get it. I get it.
Okay, so that is Keith.
The leadership lingerie collection.
Male thongs.
Suits and thongs. That could be a store. I'm gonna get a suit on this side, thongs on the other.
Okay, so that is
other.
Keith and Christine.
And one gets the other off.
All right.
I'm on a roll. Oh my God. Somebody stop me, man. This is why I'm not on the show.
I just heard it. One gets the other off. Okay. Last but not least, we're not going to waste too much time on them. Luke and Kate. Jesus. They didn't stay together.
I want to be Luke.
Luke and Kate did not stay together. I'm so glad that Kate opted for the divorce, because I knew Luke wasn't going to stick with it. Kate, I don't know, I couldn't put all my eggs in a basket with her, because I saw her kind of recognized, and then we find out about the secret sex. So, what I could say about Luke and Kate is Luke, because I don't even want to say his name. I can't even, my body won't let me say it. What I can say about Luke and Kate is, it's sad that their story developed as it is, or as it had. I think that train wreck could have been stopped a long time ago, but they both had to be willing. So we saw a lot of things that didn't add up. So I feel like they were in cahoots a lot of time, and there's a lot of things happening that we didn't know. And so we can't really blame only the experts, because they can only go off of what they tell us. As a therapist, I ask questions, and sometimes I can tell that you're lying, but I can't always throw that in your face, and if you say, hey, I'm not doing XYZ, I have to take your word for it. So if they're not there and they don't know, they really can't address it. And Dr. Jessica did say that, like, we could have kind of done something if we knew what was going on. I just hope, so we weren't really even able to see something authentic and really comment. We were commenting on just like a hall of mirrors the whole season, but it was just tough to watch, because we saw a lot of manipulation, a lot of dishonesty, a lot of, somewhat emotional abuse, and it just was tough to see. I hope that they both get counseling, specifically more Kate. Luke needs counseling, but I don't know that he knows that, and I think that he would go and be, kind of like what, the very arrogant, off-putting way that he'd have conversations with Kate as if she was like an idiot or beneath him. I feel like he would go and do that in front of a therapist. So I really want Kate to see someone, because she kind of has to pick the pieces back up, because I know she's shattered. She was shattered through that whole experience. And if she's not had that experience before, then this is thrown her completely off kilter. And I think before she gets into another relationship or even opens herself up to the thought of it, she really needs to deal with why she even allowed herself to get wrapped up in this whole situation. Otherwise, she's going to bring that to the next relationship.
All right, here we go. So Luke, I hope Luke sees this, because I think everybody can transform. All right, I think it is. You got motivation, inspiration, transformation. Transformation lasts the longest. He needs to go to, bro, you should go and check out a transformational, self-development, experiential workshop or boot camp or something. You need to be with somebody that's going to get in your face and not allow you to backtrack and not allow you to support or run from. It's kind of, you just need like a self-development boot camp similar to the military boot camp. They're not going to take your BS, and you'll be a better person. And if he does, I promise you, there will be a meltdown of tears when he truly breaks down to his core of who he really is with all this other stuff and unpack all of that. Because I really think all of us have our stuff, right? A lot of us can look and judge him from the outside, but I really think he has I'm just going to say it. I think he has a terrible support system. I think people feed his ego. They feed their baby his whatever, his style. Like when he was at the wedding, I saw it from the beginning. I told her this. His groomsmen were cool afterwards, but while you're talking, oh, I know her. Man, tighten up, bro. Look at your wife. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he needs some people that will tighten him up a little bit more. But I don't think he will attract those people because he doesn't stick around those people. He pushes them away. And he's too busy looking good. This is one of the things that we're just talking about. When he said, he looked at the wedding video. Now, I get it. Some people are very vain or they really like themselves. But watching the video and your first thoughts is, oh my God, I'm so beautiful.
I know.
I was at a loss for words. Like, use your choice of words, okay?
And even if he was joking, he never really circled back and said she
to
was
her.
beautiful.
And
right.
even at the thing, it's like, I don't care if you call yourself pretty. It's just not my thing. But, you know, I've never heard anybody I know say that, especially at their wedding video, and just not give any presence to her. And he did that even in the explanation of what he liked about it, I think, at the decision day. And even Pastor Cal pulled it out like, bro, what's missing? Like, you're not even talking about her. You're so self-centered that I don't know how he could get past anything else and judgmental. And I really would like to explain. If I would love him. No, she wouldn't. But a therapist to ask how that relationship was with her parents, because I hear his mom was very similar in the conversation she had with Kate when they were talking. Was like very smug, and I think that's a learned behavior, and he will pass that on if somebody doesn't check that. Yeah. So that just really rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm not judging anybody for calling, loving themselves and calling themselves beauty or pretty, for male or female. It's just in the context of looking at the wedding video that really just was like, wow, that's.
Yeah, that was not a good fit. So, I mean, we wish them well. I think the way that it ended up is how it should have ended up. And I think the way that...
in our wedding, though. I did look good in that wedding.
You guys will see it.
No, but she was amazing, stunning. You got to check her out. So. The wedding is it's for the wife, man. She's the star of the show. Let's be real.
Like, I am the star.
You are. I'm kidding. I look good because you picked out what I was going to wear.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
looked great. He looked great. So... that's it. Thank you guys for army crawling through yet another season with me. And, we're making the most of it because we're still learning and growing and talking and building and meeting. And so I will do a review next week for the reunion. But comment and let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to subscribe and
hit the notification bell.
Yeah, so you guys can find out when I first post these videos. And I'll see you next week. Everyone have a great week.